I don't know if people caught this yesterday or not, but Charles Hoskinson actually did an interview with Bloomberg. It's about 10 minutes long. I would definitely recommend checking this out if you guys have not yet. But one of the things he was actually discussing was a very important point for this cycle. And that is that so far it's been so heavily institutional driven, but will continue to be institutional driven until the masses hit the market. This is actually something that can be very beneficial for ADA moving forward. And I want to discuss this with you guys. And it's also a big reason why I think there's this big disconnect for people that are complaining about ADA not hitting an all-time high yet, and they don't realize how big of an opportunity this actually is. So if you guys are new or haven't already, show your support for the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button. That bell is free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So I'll get to the all-time high thing in just a moment, because I think there's something that people are missing, at least context-wise, when it comes to this. But Charles Hoskinson actually said the massive capital, or that massive capital will flow into the crypto market driven by institutions. And I think we all understand so far that this cycle has been very institutional driven. We have not really seen big surges in terms of new people entering the crypto market. In fact, from 2022, the amount of people in crypto are down. I did a video talking about that. If you guys haven't checked that out, I would recommend doing so. But we're still sitting at this point where we're 5 to 6% in the world of people in crypto. And this cycle has been driven by institutions, enterprises, and governments. All right, you're seeing governments around the world load up. We're having quarter after quarter after quarter of enterprises accumulating more and more and more assets in the crypto market. And obviously the introduction of institutional money into the space has caused some manipulation, but it's also allowed the market to make some pretty big strides forward. Obviously, from the point that we saw institutional money introduced into this crypto market via ETFs, we have seen the crypto market climb from a $1.75 trillion market cap to now a $4.08 trillion market cap. So what that shows is that during this time, we have seen the market cap of crypto increase by $2.32 trillion. And what's interesting is the assets that up until recently had ETF products for only Bitcoin and Ethereum here in the US, those have increased by a combined $1.65 trillion in market cap. They have accounted for 71% of the total market cap of crypto increase during that time. So yes, things have been very institutional driven. And understand that doesn't mean that we've had $1.65 trillion flow into crypto just because of institutional money. That's where a lot of the interest is right now. It's a lot more nuanced than that. You have to look at LPs. You have to use the 10-20 rule for those that aren't familiar. So it's all liquidity is different than market cap. That's the biggest thing you need to understand. But it has obviously been very institutional heavy in this market cycle. And where that relates to ADA and why this is so important is we are starting to see institutional demand for ADA. And whether you disagree or not is completely irrelevant, because there are multiple ETF filings and multiple ETF approvals for ADA. Okay. So yes, there is institutional demand. And for anybody that's pushing back on this, and I saw a comment yesterday saying, what institutions are going to buy or who via an ETF wants to buy ADA? Guys, they do this based on demand. They don't just launch ETF products just because it costs hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars to get one on the market. And guys, one of the largest institutional players in the world, it has a filing for an ADA spot ETF. So it's showing you that if institutions right now are the ones driving major demand in the crypto market, and ADA has institutional demand, it opens up the door for some pretty big possibilities in this market cycle. Now, I'm not saying that that's going to be the thing that takes us to an all-time high. I still think that retail is a big driver of ADA, but I did want to address these comments about an all-time high. And this guy, Klovac style, appreciate the comment. What he said is, what are you talking about? ADA price isn't moving so far from its all-time high. Well, first of all, ADA price has been moving from the depths of the bear market cycle to now. You guys can see a very distinct trend. It's up and to the right, higher highs, higher lows. We have higher conviction. Obviously, whales have been heavily accumulating. Supply has been removed from exchanges. And one thing that I think people continue to forget about is how different Cardano and ADA are this market cycle from last market cycle. We've had major developments, major partnerships, obviously big institutional and enterprise interest for ADA. Some governments around the world are utilizing the Cardano blockchain, and we're in a very different place in our life cycle. And I find it weird that people are still saying, oh, ADA hasn't hit an all-time high. Oh, ADA hasn't hit an all-time high. I don't think people realize how short of a time ADA was actually at an all-time high, first of all, or how short of a time ADA was above $3 or $2. Guys, ADA was above $3 for a hot second. And what I mean by a hot second is we're talking about 2 blips over the course of 2 days. ADA has only spent 75 days of its life cycle above $2. Okay. It's not a very long period of time. And what was really heavily present at that time that hasn't been present in this market cycle, and I'll sound like a parrot because I keep repeating myself, is retail. All right. Retail has not been coming back to the market yet. So it's not really surprising when 71% of this market cycle has been dominated by the institutional money, or a big part of the rest of it has been dominated by VCs. It's been big money with hidden agendas or people that want to make money off of the different products, right? That's been what this market cycle is about. Okay. When we talk about gains, and would it have been better to just throw money at BTC at the start of this market cycle and just say, screw everything else? Yeah, probably. BTC is always the first mover anyway, so it's not really that big of a deal. But here's the thing, is just because ADA right now is not hit an all-time high, I think there's this weird skewed sense of perspective. And what I mean by that is people say, oh, ADA hasn't hit an all-time high now, so it's not good. You're looking at it completely backwards. That means that ADA has probably some of the most room to grow. If we've seen Solana hit an all-time high, we just saw BNB hit an all-time high. If we saw BTC hit an all-time high, if we saw Ethereum hit an all-time high already, capital tends to flock to the assets that have not yet. They move around the market cycle. They look for the assets that are the late to move. And if you haven't noticed, there's been a lot of strategic positioning that's quietly taking place behind the scenes. And frankly, it's been robbing retail blind when it comes to ADA, because people think that it won't do well. And I think it's going to be the one, that late market cycle. It really surprises a lot of people with how quickly and aggressively it moves. In times of excitement, when looking at a lot of these last pumps, ADA has been one of the faster movers. And maybe I don't know what just happened to my chart. If you disagree, that's neither here nor there. Just look at what ADA did compared to the other US-based assets, or the assets that were listed in the crypto strategic digital stockpile. I said that wrong. But take a look back at March. ADA was the best mover out of all of the assets listed. That's in the strategic crypto asset stockpile, again, whatever you want to call it. But ADA is moving better and better and getting stronger and stronger as the cycle progresses. And it's very funny because when ADA does actually break resistance to the upside, and guys, there's not a lot of it here, there is very thin liquidity up here. There is not a lot of ADA to go around. There's not much ADA in the order books. There's very little in the LPs. Exchange supply has been rapidly depleting. And I think it's going to be one of those that, again, just surprises a lot of people. Last market cycle, ADA moved its best once retail got involved, once it broke this long-term trend. Here's our long-term trend, guys. We're not even close yet. And that means that there's obviously still opportunity. Me personally, I've taken advantage of the opportunity in the space. I'm sure you guys have here as well. And we have so many things working in our favor right now. It's hard to not see this taking place. So that's all I got for you guys. I appreciate you as always. I hope you enjoyed the video. Between retail, between institutional money, between governments, between enterprises, I think Cardano and ADA have a chance to do some really exciting things. So have a great day. Show your love below. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.